All right, Panther fans, hockey fans, you guys will be very happy to see that I have a shirt on this morning. If you watched the recap last night, after Colorado came back and won that game in overtime, one game before, at the end of the recap, I said, like an idiot, if Tampa goes into Colorado and wins, I'll do the end of the recap nude. How was your morning, Stu? I tried to forget about it, but I got reminded on the stream yesterday for sure. During the game, I had people texting me, sending me messages on Twitter, making sure that I remembered what I said. So my apologies. There was no nipples. Luckily, I did the normal camera angle. And when I went to edit it, I'm like, please, just no nipples, please. And there was no nipples. I did not have to cut out my own nipples.
You should have done what the Chili Peppers do and have one of those puppets hanging off, How many people actually thought Tampa was going to win that game last night?
Oh, man.
I mean, we were all expecting, the cup was there. The crowd was electric. I fully expected Colorado to take the cup last night. And Tampa just did it again. They just won't die, right? That's your slogan. They just won't die.
Right. And I mean, when Colorado tied it in the beginning of the third period, I thought, okay, that was a nice little, you made it close, Tampa. You made it close. Here they come. And then you can't even point your finger on what happened, with the exception of Vasilevsky said no. And what somebody said in the comments was Kemper doing his best Bob imitation on the third goal. And it's that actually is a Bob goal, because it's one of those where it's like, well, it's not really a bad goal, but he should have
got it, but he doesn't have it.
Right. Yeah.
How many of those have we seen?
Right.
He just he's got it. Oh, it squeaks through.
I mean, squeaks through it. Impossible. I mean, like his glove and the puck. And I mean, there's a half an inch of clearance there, and somehow it's through him. I mean, that is a Bob goal. That's exactly what happens. And you can't close out the cup, not against this team with goals like that. And I really expected Colorado to put the waves on and come back and tie that sucker up. But then, geez, the after the way the last game ended, and then the too many men on the ice penalty. Now, it was a penalty, and it needed to be called.
Call it.
Right. But that's 2 games in a row. I mean, how Colorado made a big mistake there.
Yeah, that's on the coach. Getting back to the goal, what's really makes it 10 times worse is when they show that thing in slow motion and you're just like cringing.
Right.
Like the first goal by Ruda, man. How many people saw just take Ruda out and put Gudis in?
Right.
That was like a mirror of what Gudis did in that game, right?
Yeah.
Firing that in. I mean, listen, you got to give your hats off to Palat. He's been dynamite.
Yeah.
Okay. He's just been, listen, Tampa steps up when they have to.
Yeah.
They just do. And, I thought it was going to be the other way around. In fact, I sent you a text. I said, you're going to get what you want. You're going to get a goal with less than 5 minutes left.
Right.
I mean, I was hoping, well, not that I was hoping. I thought Colorado would tie it up and we would go to overtime. But, hey, What are you going to do?
Right. And
it's back to Tampa. Now, I'm thinking Tampa takes game 6 and we go back to Colorado for game 7, which is kind of sort of what we thought it was going to be before the series even started.
Well, I got to own that I picked Tampa in 6. I've made too big of a deal about that. I certainly never would have thought Colorado in 5, though. That's for sure. But to your point about Palat, they put out the statistic. He's got this playoffs. He's got 7 third period goals alone. I mean, clutch, Jonathan Huberto. In case you're not watching, because we know you're not watching, but 7 third period goals.
Who's on his water skis on the lake.
Yeah, I know.
There's always one player that steps up in the playoffs,
Right.
in the finals. Go back to '96 and look at Dave Lowry,
Right.
who really didn't do a lot in the regular season. Come those playoffs, man.
Yeah. And
You know,
people were asking last night, who'd win the Conn Smythe, if it would be like Makar or Nikushkin. But if Tampa wins this series, it might be Palat. I mean,
definitely up there. Gotta definitely have Kucherov in the mix. I don't think it's
right.
going to be Vasilevsky.
No, I don't think so either.
But I'd say Palat's definitely up there. Kucherov would be my number one
Right.
guy. I don't know if Stamkos would be in that conversation.
And we got 2 games. If Tampa's going to win, there's 2 more games to go. So who knows?
I don't know really who else stands out for me. I mean, you could look at stats, but the most valuable player to me for Tampa is Kucherov. I've said it. Everything goes through Kucherov.
Right. So, yep.
I don't even know why. I think he's got 8 goals.
Cooch. Yeah.
I think he's got 8 goals in the playoff. But look at all the assists he's gotten.
Right.
Well, I should say, look at all the times he's involved with a goal.
Yeah.
Especially the winning goals. I think Corey Perry has played like an amazing playoffs. He's like, rejuvenated, reborn, whatever you want to call it. Because he had a couple of years there where, I thought his career was basically over.
Yeah.
I don't think he really, was shining in Dallas or in Montreal, but Tampa's given him new life, and he was involved in, the Kucherov goal, what was it, the go-ahead goal?
Yeah.
From the blue line?
Yeah.
Well, Corey Perry was the screen.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yep. Well, yeah, I agree with you. Just as much, and of course, this is bad news for you Tampa fans, because just as much as I was sure Colorado was going to win Game 5, I'm just that sure Tampa's going to win Game 6. So, but now both teams, each team knows they can win in the other team's barn, and so there's no guarantees here. Tampa's still going to have to. I mean, I'm just still shocked that they won that game. It didn't look like, I mean, when you saw the end of Game 4, there was a clear energy disparity. I mean, clearly Tampa was gassed, and that, I guess, that had more to do with who's the defenseman that was out, that they went down to 5 defensemen in that game.
Chernak?
Yeah, Chernak was out. Now, he was back in last night. He was struggling a little bit. He went to the bench a couple of times, but I guess that Game 4, when they were gassed like that, was because they had gone to 5D. I'm throwing that out there because we came to the third period yesterday, and it started to look like the same thing was getting ready to happen. Colorado scored, tied the game, but Tampa seemed to have a little bit more gas in the tank than they did, which is odd because that was in Colorado with the elevation, which kind of throws that whole thing out the window. Tampa played a full game. They played a full game. And, at the beginning of the recap, I said the biggest difference is going to be goaltending, I think. And, I think that's what we saw last night. And not that Vasilevsky was perfect, and not that Kemper was bad, but 2 goals. Kemper, I mean, like I always say, give me one of them. Make one of those 2 saves. Just give me one. You don't have to save everyone, but one, and they're at least in overtime. So I don't know, man. Tampa Bay, I've been saying it and saying it and saying it, is don't count these guys out. I mean, they were only down 3-1. They were down, 2-0 and 3-1. They were down 2-0 to the Rangers, and they were down 3-2 to Toronto as well, right? Right. So, I think they said the graphic was, excuse me, this is the 4th 50 win or more team that Tampa's faced in the playoffs this year, and no team had ever faced more than 2. and this is their fourth. So
that's why they're the champs.
Who we pick in Game 7?
Let's get through Game 6. That's all I'll say. I don't want to.
You're not going there?
Nah.
No, actually, what I'm going to do is for Game 7, I'm going to sell my services. Whoever gives me the most money, I will pick against. All right. So in the Game 7 live stream, Avalanche fans, Lightning fans, you show up, and whichever fan base gives me more super chats, I will go make the recap and pick against you. How about that? I'm almost getting good enough to where I could charge to pick against teams. It's been the opposite. So Avalanche fans may be happy that I'm sure that Tampa's winning Game 6. I am just as sure as Colorado was going to win Game 5. I still can't believe it. We said.
Do you think Vasilevsky had that hard of a night last night? Do you think do you think he made more than 3-4 spectacular saves?
He's not having to make spectacular saves. What's happening is they're getting a lot of traffic in front of them, so the deflections. I mean, again last night he makes the save. This is the third time this season, and it's led to a goal every time. He makes the save, and the rebound goes right back to a Colorado player. Like it couldn't have been a better pass if it was from an Avalanche guy to an Avalanche guy. That's 3 times that happened, and all 3 times it's ended up in the back of the net. So I think they're getting traffic in front of him where he's not used to it.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right, because that's at least on that first goal.
Yeah.
That puck just dropped, and he didn't know where it was. I mean,
right
on your fan video that you did, after Maurice got signed, my good friend Jack made a comment about the power play. I hate going back to the Panthers, but it obviously kind of ties in with Tampa. That Hornquist should have been the guy on the number 1 power play unit.
Right.
In front of Vasilevsky. That's what he does.
Right.
And that's the way I think you beat Vasilevsky. Either someone, jumping on a rebound, taking the eyes away. That's it. Because if Vasilevsky sees the puck, just like pretty much Bob, if Bob sees the puck, he's making the save.
Yeah.
So the idea is to have at least 1 or 2 guys causing havoc in front.
Right.
Because then you have 2 Tampa defensemen. So now you got 4 guys.
Right.
And that's a traffic jam where anything can happen.
Right. No, that's exactly right. Yeah. So I think that's the biggest difference. I mean, so he's not having to make, they're not getting breakaways and whatnot. He's not having to make, at least these last couple games, those crazy stretch saves where he's.
That's the thing. That's why I asked, because I didn't see that last night. I'm not going to say he had an easy game, but I don't really think he had to come up with that one of those wow saves that,
No.
You and I just look at each other and go, like, how the hell did he stretch all the way over there to get that?
Right. Yeah, and that's kind of what I expected after when Tampa scored like 6 minutes left or whatever it was to take the lead. I never saw Colorado really ramp it up, and then I guess then the too many men on the ice penalty could, there's little moments that you could look back in the series, whether who wins or who loses. If somehow Colorado doesn't win the cup, that too many men on the ice penalty is going to play out huge because, that's 2 minutes they could have had Kemper off, on the bench and the extra man. And we've seen it happen. Tampa's done it to us. They did it to the Rangers with, seconds left. So certainly, with 20 seconds left, it's still not, it ain't over until it's over. That's for damn sure. So, all right.
Well, another question.
Yeah.
Nathan McKinnon on the power play has the puck on that left side and doing all his dipsy doodles, trying to find. How many times did he pass up shots?
Yeah.
How many times did I was getting infuriated because, like, what are you doing?
Right.
You're the top sniper on the team. You have the puck. In my opinion, you have an opportunity to, go top shelf or whatever. There's guys in. Why are you not shooting? Why are you?
Right.
I think it's 95% of the time you passed.
Yeah, it was.
Am I okay on that one?
Yeah, no,
I was the same thing.
I was surprised to see that, and Stamkos did it a couple times too. Where I mean, Stamkos had that one time where the puck bounced off of him, but then he came, or bounced over his stick. But then he came back down the ice again, and he had a clear space, and he tried to cut instead of just taking the shot. He kind of tried to cut to the middle and pass the puck. It got a little weird in the end of that third period. Yeah, but I agree. McKinnon had a couple of chances there, and you just kind of it was a weird ending to that game because it was all the series in the game was on this one trajectory, and it looked like it was getting ready to get finished off. Before I texted you and in the stream, my prediction was 3-2 Colorado, and Colorado was going to score about 3 or 4 minutes left, and that was going to be it. And it really looked like that's where we were headed. It looked like they were going to ramp up the energy. Tampa wasn't going to be able to keep up. They'd get the goal and they'd take the cup. And it's like the hockey guides were like, we won 7 games and just made it happen. There was no like obvious answer on the ice as to like one team took over and one team didn't. It just Palat snuck in. And Kempfer's going to have that goal. I mean, it wasn't a bad goal, but believe me, he went to bed thinking he should have had that goal. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things where that level of competition, that level of pressure, you have to be perfect. If you're less than perfect, a lot of times you don't win. And all I know is that if Tampa finishes this off and actually makes this comeback and does it, boy, Avalanche fans, that was the loudest building I think I've ever heard last night when they were screaming, "We want the cup." I mean, I felt bad for them because I mean that the heck with empty seats. It looked like there were people sitting on laps. There were so many. It was so loud in there, And,
I texted you at some point, like you could feel it through the
Yeah, exactly.
Listen to that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I know.
All right,
so
well,
maybe they'll have game 7 to do it, right? Because Tampa on home ice, an elimination game, forget the fact that it was 3-1. All Tampa's thinking is just one game at a time here. And then, like I said, the recap last night, Tampa knows what that cup smells like. They know what it smells like. They've drank from it. They know how to go find it. Colorado's still searching. That fourth one's always the hardest. Yeah. Yeah, what, 2001, right? 2001? Yeah, exactly.
Jacket to Bork.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's as far as our predictions, I mean, we can just throw them out the window because
I'm going to start charging to root against the team. I mean, I'll make something out of nothing, right? All right, guys. Appreciate all the support. So what's today? Saturday. Unless the Panthers have anything massive happen or something happens in hockey, I'll probably take the rest of the day off. A couple of people have been asking, after the season, am I still going to be doing live streams? The answer is yes. We won't have games, but I'm planning on what I've guaranteed is at least 2 live streams a week because we have a good time, and I don't want everybody to just be completely without content and gone. And I'll still have at least 1 video out a day. Probably more. And as soon as hockey's over, as soon as the cup is lifted, 2 days after that, the football channel starts back up. I've been kind of just wanting to wait until I was done with hockey and then pick up the football where hockey is slow. And then by September, everything will be rolling. And I just won't sleep. That's my plan. I just won't sleep. And that should make it work out just fine. All right. Appreciate all the support. Like Stu always says, hit the like button. Thank you for all the new subscribers. Stu's noticed the reaction to my topless video last night. So I think in the next couple of days, he's going to be opening up his own OnlyFans. He needs to raise a little bit of cash to help his back out. So he's going to open up an OnlyFans where if you pay him, he'll keep his clothes on. That's how we're going to do this. All right, guys. Appreciate all the support. We'll see you again Monday morning. Yeah, Monday morning.